We just finished reading about oxytocin. Oxytocin in the brain is typically manufactured, communicated, and has a significant impact on the structure we call care, nurture, circuitry. And these systems in hypothalamus and midbrain are involved in expressions of parenting behavior. So the claim here is that um, attachment and experience of developing a secure attachment base shapes your care, nurture, and circuitry in such a way that you're better able to manufacture, utilize, and respond to oxytocin. And there's a research study I'd like to share with you that makes this point. Dr. Ripka and colleagues came up with a paradigm where he had people do a little task on computer, and if they got the task right, they got a smiling face, and if they got the task wrong, they got a frowning face. But just to make sure that he controlled the experiment, controlled things in an experiment, he gave a frowning face sometimes when people got stuff right, and a smiling face when sometimes when people got stuff wrong. But the interesting part of the study was that he looked at a couple of different populations. People who were characterized as secure detachment, and these are adults, don't forget that they are adults, who are characterized as anxiously attached, and people who were characterized as adult avoidant attachment style. And if you recall from the videos by Dr. Datcher in the reading, you may remember that anxiously attached people generally struggle with the senses of insecurity and not being sure if people are going to abandon them or reject them. And um, attached, avoidantly attached people tend to be aloof and disinterested. And what Ripko and his colleagues discovered was that if you measure the brains of these three types of people, while they were either given good feedback or bad feedback, there was a difference depending on their attachment status. And here's the difference. If you are anxiously attached and you are getting a negative feedback, for example, and there's somebody like which means like say someone is scolding you or scrolling you for the mistakes you've made, you have a much more exaggerated response in the structure of your brain called as amygdala, which is the part of the brain which is involved in signaling, in causing signaling alarm or excellence or perhaps even distress. On the other hand, if you are avoidantly attached, which again is a sort of being aloof, disinterested way of relating to the social world, we found that the brain, when you're smiling because you have done something well, you show an improvised response in pleasure centers. So, for the average securely attached person, when someone smiles at you because you've done something right, you get a boost of dopamine and pleasure. But if you are avoidantly attached, you don't get as much joy out of the compliment that you get. So again, this is an evidence that suggests that the importance of early social connections and what they have on the oxytocin, in the way that oxytocin gets released, used, and trains our brain circuitry on our capacity and for relationship to social connections, and thereby to happiness. So this should help you in getting the basic idea of attachment and happiness. And I would encourage you to take the survey of attachment style to know your attachment style and reflect on your own attachment style as you relate to people and your social world.